Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and really kol hakavod to Jesse and to the Salems for organizing these the podcast and the lectures, and it's really just an amazing thing. And that this is what your community is coming out for on a Motzei Shabbat. It's really a very beautiful thing. So I even all the way over in Israel, we get the news, and it seems like not a day goes by without hearing some sort of depressing news, either from America or from Israel or other countries around the world, about leadership and about our leaders who are unfortunately more than fallible and who seem to unfortunately let us down on a daily basis. And that's on the one hand. And on the other hand, with the advent of Instagram and Twitter and all of these things, to see the leaders, not only political leaders, but leaders in various industries, really unabashedly just promoting themselves to such an extent that I think it sort of behooves us to look to our sources and to say, what's the Torah idea or ideal on leadership?
Just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. One more thing. One no, this class, well, first of all, this series was always sponsored. Sponsored in memory of Rabbi Labaton by Bobby Dweck, but this class specifically will be also in memory of my aunt Deborah, Deborah Esther Bat Miriam Chaya, my father's sister, who passed away 29 years ago, or 30 years now, 20 years. Okay, come on.
So I think that we take a look at Sefer Shemot, and Sefer Shemot opens, it's the beginning of our national history. Right? Sefer Bereshit talks about the formation of the world, the formation of Bnei Israel, and Sefer Shemot is where we really become a nation. And so we know in general first impressions are very important. And so it's a good idea to take a look at what's going on in the opening of this Sefer. So we start out, I'm going to, for a few moments, skip the first few psukim. We'll get back to that at the end. But we take a look, starting with Perek Aleph Pasuk Chet, and we see the Gzerot of Paro. And the first gezerah is that he puts sarei misim, and the Mefarshim differ as to whether sarei misim is talking about a tax authority or taskmasters, or perhaps the people in charge of a labor tax. But in any case, they are meant to oppress Bnei Israel. And in the first section, which goes from Pasuk Chet until Pasuk Yudalid, we start to see if not a milah mancha, not a light word, but a motif of riboy, of increase. So we start out, Vayakam melech hadash al Mitzrayim asher lo yadat Yosef. A new king arises, did not know Yosef. Vayomer el amo, hine am bnei Israel rav ve'atzum mimenu. Behold, bnei Israel are greater and more powerful, perhaps, or more abundant than us, than we are. Hava nitchakmalo pen yirbeh. Again, that lashon of riboy. We need to deal wisely with them, lest they increase. V'haya ki tikrena milchama v'nosaf gam hu al sonenu v'nilcham banu ve'ala min haaretz. Lest they join with our enemies in the case of war. V'yasimu alev sarei misim leman anoto b'sivlotam v'yivin arei miskinot leFaro et pitom ve'et Ramses. So he put on them these sarei misim, and they built the cities of Pitom and Ramses. V'chasher yanu oto ken yirbeh v'chen yifrot. Much as they oppressed them, that is how they would increase and multiply. V'yakutzu mipnei bnei Israel, and they were bothered by bnei Israel. And they are worked b'farech, and their lives were made bitter by the Egyptians. So we see that in the beginning, this opening section, we don't have any mention of individuals, and it's almost reminiscent of the way the Nazis wanted to treat this group, the Jews, right? We have Bnei Israel as a whole, and the action is riboy, is increase, and the Mitzrim are trying to deal with this strange people and get rid of them. Then we move on to the next gezerah. The next gezerah, the next decree, is killing the boy children, the male children. So apparently, because we see ka'asher ya'anu oto ken yirbeh v'chen yifrot, right? It didn't work. The attempt at making their lives so difficult. I have 2 sons in the army. They come home, they're dead tired. They can barely eat. They're just completely non-functional, right? So Paro was not so off the mark here, right? And there are all sorts of midrashim about what the women did to not give in to the gzera of Paro, but it didn't work, right? Making them work very hard didn't work. They continued to increase. And so we have pasuk tet vav, vayomer melech Mitzrayim lamiyaldot ha'ivriot asher shem ha'achat shifra v'shem ha'shenit pu'ah vayomer biyaled chen et ha'ivriot ur'iten al ha'avnaim im benhu v'hamiten oto v'im bati v'chaya. So we have this next section in which the Leitwort, the Milah Mancha, is going to be miyaldot. Again and again, we'll see. And Melech Mitzrayim says to the Hebrew midwives, or perhaps the midwives of the Hebrews, the name of one was Shifra, the name of the other Pu'ah, and he tells them, when you birth the Hebrew women, and you see on the birthing stone, if it is a boy, then you kill it, and if it is a daughter, you can let it live. ותראינה המילדות את האלוקים ולא עשו כאשר דיבר עליהן מלך מצרים ותחיינה את הילדים. ויקרא מלך מצרים למילדות ויאמר להן מדוע עשיתן הדבר הזה ותחיינה את הילדים. So the miyaldot feared God. They do not do the decree of Paro. And he calls them in on it, and he asks the miyaldot, why have you done this and let the children live? ותאמרנה המילדות אל פרעה, כי לא כנשים המצריות העבריות, כי חיות הנה בטרם תבוא עליהן המילדת וילדו. And so the miyaldot answer, it's not us, it's them, basically. These women are not like the Egyptian women. They give birth so quickly, and by the time the miyaledet gets to them, it's too late. They've already given birth, implying that they were supposed to be basically making these women think that the babies were stillborn or something like that, because not that they were grabbing the baby away from the mother once she knew that it was already a live baby boy. ויתב אלוקים למילדות וירב העם ויעצמו מאוד. And so Hashem makes it good for the miyaldot, and the nation increases. ויהי כי יראו המילדות את האלוקים ויעש להם בתים. And because the midwives feared God, he made for them houses. So we have here another section in which we have basically no proper names. Right? We have again miyaldot, miyaledet, and it's almost like repeated so many times that it's sort of in our face. And we hear that shema achat shifra v'shema shenit pu'ah. But what does Rashi say? Rashi says that he quotes the Midrash, Shifra zo yocheved al shem shemeshaperet et havlad. Shifra is yocheved, and she is called Shifra because she would improve the condition of the baby. Pu'ah zo Miriam al shem shepo'ah umedaberet vehoga lavlad. And Pu'ah is called Pu'ah because she would talk to the baby, right? They tell us talk to the children, and even a newborn baby. And she would prevent the child from crying. So we have here a situation where Shifra and Pu'ah are really the actions. They're not the private, personal names of the miyaldot. And other Mefarshim say that perhaps there were a lot of Shifras and a lot of Pu'ahs. It was the name of a profession, essentially. So that perhaps when he spoke to Shifra and Pu'ah, it was the head Shifra and the head Pu'ah, but that these are not personal names that a girl was born and her mother called her Shifra or her mother calls her Pu'ah. So we have another section where we have a general name mialdot, mialedet, appearing again and again. We have the shifra and puah, who are not personal names, but names of basically their actions. And we have the verb vatir'ena et hamiyaldot et Elokim. Right? The action they are doing is they are fearing God. So we're going to keep that in mind. Move on to the next section. Right? And of course, the section ends with Paro commanding that the baby boys be thrown into the Yaor, to the river, and the girls can live. We start Perek Bet. So here we have another section where we're going to see virtually no personal names, no personal the private names, right? And the milah mancha, the light word in this section, is yeled. Vayelech ish mi beit Levi, vayikach et bat Levi. A man goes out from the house of Levi, and he takes a daughter of Levi. Vatar ha'isha, vateled ben, vatere oto kitofu, vatitzpenehu shlosha yerechim. The woman conceives and gives birth, and she sees that the child is good, and she hides him for 3 months. V'lo yachla od hatzpino, v'tikach lo tevat gome, v'tachmera v'chemar uvazafet, v'tasem ba et hayeled, v'tasem basuf al sfat hayor. At this point, it's almost becoming awkward how many pronouns there are in the psukim. Right? And she could not hide him, so she took an ark of gome, of some sort of reeds, and she pitches it with chemar and zefet, with sticky pitch and tar, yeah, good. And she puts the child into it, and she puts it into the reeds of the river. Vatetatzav achoto, again, not a personal name, but a position, his sister, amirachok, lidea ma ye'aselo. So his sister stands. Now, just for comparison, right, we have at the end of the parasha, if you look in Shemot, Perek Vav, next week's parasha, in Ba'era, or it's already this week's parasha. Right? The last. Where am I? Sorry, yeah, Perek Vav. Pasuk Yud Tet. Vayikach Amram et Yocheved dodato lo liisha, vateled lo et Aharon ve'et Moshe u'shnei Amram sheva shloshim u'ma'at shana. So this is not a case where the Torah is trying to have us guess who these people are. Right? It's very clear that the parents of Moshe are Amram and Yocheved. It's very clear who the baby is. But for some reason, the Perek here does not want to tell us. In any case, we continue that his sister, who of course we know is Miriam, is watching from the side. Vatered bat paro lerchot et hayor v'na'aroteh chot al yad hayor. Again, we don't hear the name of bat paro, right? She's just the daughter of, and she has her na'arot. Vatere et hateva betoch Hasuf vatishlach et amata vatikacheha. So she sees it, and she sends her maidservant to go get it. Vatiftach vatir'ehu et hayeled v'hine na'ar boche vatachmol alav vatomer miyaldei ha'ivrim zeh. And she opens it, and she sees the child, and the child is crying. And she has mercy on the child, and she says, "This is from the children of the Ivrim." Right? So she has to inspect it. She understands. She sees it's a yeled and not a ben and not a bat. The midrashim here say, "Vatiftach vatir'ehu." Right? What is the hu? It's the Shekhinah, or it's some sort of a aura about Moshe. She doesn't perhaps know what the Shekhinah is. We're talking about bat paro, but in any case, there's an ambiguity here because we have Hivihine Na'ar Bocheh, again, not a private name, and the Balaturim says it's Aharon, that this was a family effort. We have Miriam to see what's going to happen to the child, and we have Aharon, who's 3 years old, a child at an age where he could already take instruction, throwing his voice to make sure that someone hears a crying sound coming from the general direction of the Teva. so that they will come and investigate, right? So again, though, all of these actions are taken by anonymous people. And we continue to see the instances of Yeled Vatomer Achoto. She comes out of hiding, right? Once she sees Bat Paro has taken the child, Vatomer Achoto el Bat Paro ha'elech v'karati lach isha meineket min ha'ivriot v'tainik lach et ha'yeled. So again, a function. Should I call for you a nurse woman from the Hebrews in order to nurse the child for you? Vatomer la Bat Paro lechi v'telech ha'alma v'tikra et im ha'yeled. Again, a relation. We don't see any private names, but she goes, and the maiden calls the mother of the child. Vatomer la Bat Paro, speaking now to the mother, to Yocheved, helichi et hayeled hazeh v'henikihu li v'ani eten et scharich v'tikach ha'isha hayeled v'tanikehu. So we see the jobs. We see the sister who's following. We see perhaps the older brother who is causing the baby in the basket to be noticed. We see the mother nursing. But we don't hear who they are. Vayigdal hayeled v'tiviehu levat paro. Right, according to the plan, she brings him to Bat Paro. Vayihi la levin, and he is to her a son. Right, we're not sure to which woman here. Right. I think there's an intentional ambiguity that it's going both ways. Also Bat Paro, who's about to raise him, but also to Yocheved, clearly, who's been nursing him and caring for him for these years. Vatikra shmo Moshe, vatomer ki min hamayim mishitihu. And she calls him Moshe, for I have drawn him from the waters. Now, at this point, I want to just take a break for a moment, and I'll bring the Or HaChaim. The Or HaChaim says something very interesting about the naming of Moshe. He says as follows: Hinei timtza shinoi b'kriat shem Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'hashvatim ki lekulam yagdim ta'am Hashem ve'achar kach Hashem. Says that in the naming of Moshe, what do we have? First, the name, and then the reason. And so the Or HaChaim points out here that almost without exception, that with Yaakov and with Yitzchak and with the Shvatim, when they are named, it's the reverse. We first get the reason, and then the name. And it's true if you look in Sefer Bereshit in Paragraph Aleph, where we have B'Yitzchak Kol Hashomei Yitzchak V'Gomer, and then Vatikra Shmo Yitzchak, or Yaakov V'Yado Chesed Be'ekev Achiv Vayikra Shmo Yaakov, and also with the Shvatim, almost without exception, we have the reason given first. However, here we have the name. Here we have the name given first. And so Sforno brings an interesting idea. And Sforno says, Vatikra shmo Moshe, why? Mimalet umusha et acherim mitzara. Because this is talking about his future. Because if it was just that he had been taken out, he could have been called Mashui or Nimsheh, something like that. But we're talking about the fact that he himself is going to be the one to save people from trouble. So the first proper name that we get in the parasha, after a parak and a half, is the name Moshe. And it's talking about the acts that were done to him, but also the acts that he's going to do to others. And he is learning this, right, from both of his mothers. Because we see Vayihi la Levin. And so who's he learning from? He has on the one hand Yocheved, who was simply Bat Levi. She was an anonymous person who did her job in building Am Yisrael. Right? We don't always hear the names of people who make a difference in Am Yisrael. And on the other hand, he has Bat Paro, who had every reason not to show chemla, but vatachmol al hayeled, right? And so these are the people who affect Moshe in his early life. These two women and his sister who's brought in from the side. So we have here this combination. Now, if we continue on in the parasha, then what do we see? The next section is Moshe growing up. And now we move from the Milah Mancha, from the light word being Yeled, to Ish. Right. So here we have to see, and we've already heard Ish once, right? Vayelech Ish mi Beit Levi, vayikach et bat Levi. So now we're moving on to this section of Ish. And the word Ish here is not always going to refer to Moshe, right? Sometimes it will talk about the Ish Mitzri, and sometimes it will be Yitro, and sometimes it's going to be Moshe. But we're going to see now that we're still in this realm of anonymity, right? Of pronouns versus personal names, but growing up and saying, well, what kinds of a person is Moshe going to come into? What kinds of modeling is he going to show? What kinds of leadership is there? So we continue Pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayihi bayamim ahem, vayigdal Moshe, vayetze el echav, vayar besivlotam, vayar ish mitzri makeh ish ivri me echav. So we do have, on the one hand, Moshe, right? We're learning about this person named Moshe. However, what's the first thing that we see? Echav. It's not a personal name, it's not one singular person, but he's going out to his brethren to see their burdens, and he sees an Ish Mitzri hitting an Ish Ivri from his brethren. Vayifen kovacho vayar ki en ish vayach et hamitzri vayitmenehu bachol. So again we have someone hiding something, right? Just like his mother hid him, Moshe is now hiding the Ish Mitzri that he's just killed in order to save a life. And we continue, right? Now first of all, when we see the Ish Mitzri makeh, so the word makeh can be used as a verb, right? Hitting. It can also be used as an adjective. He is the Ish makeh. He's an Ish Mitzri makeh, an Egyptian hitter, right? This is what he was, his characteristic, one of his characteristics, right? So we start to see that people in this parasha are named after, rather than having personal names, but named after their actions. There are the Mialdot who are they feared God, right? Vatirena, et Elokim. We have an Ish Mitzri who's makeh. We're going to see in the next pasuk that we have pasuk Yud Gimel vayetze b'yom hasheni v'hine shnei anashim ivrim nitzim. So now we have men, again, it could be taken as a verb or an adjective, two fighting men. Vayomer l'rasha lama takeh re'echa. Right, so for anyone who's a parent, you go in and your kids are fighting, and you don't know exactly which one started what, right? And how does he know who's the rasha? So we have all sorts of midrashim. But this is the ofi, this is the characteristic of the person. And he says, Lama takeh re'echa. Who's your re'ah? Re'ah, why are you hitting your fellow, your peer? Right? Well, that goes back to, we tell our kids, hang out with a good crowd, right? Because he's your peer. You're hitting him, he's hitting you. You're both Rishayim. What are you doing here? What's going on? And so, again, we start to see not personal names. The Midrash tells us it's Datan v'Aviram, but the Pasuk doesn't tell us that. What's important in the Pasuk is the nature of these people. A Rasha and his Re'ah. And instead of taking the Tochacha that he gives, the rebuke, Vayomer mi samcha li'ish sar v'shofet aleinu, halehargeni ata omer kasher haragte et hamitzri. Who has placed you as an officer and to judge on us? Will you kill us? Are you saying that you will kill us like you killed the Egyptian? So they are naming Moshe now by the actions that he's doing. Are you a sar? Are you a shofet on us? That's what you're trying to do? Instead of perhaps taking this as, well, maybe we shouldn't be hitting each other. No. They are not ready to take that tochacha, and instead they turn on Moshe. Vayira Moshe vayomer achen noda davar. And here I think we have an additional ambiguity, right? This is a very, we said already, so many pronouns, it leads to ambiguity. Vayira Moshe, right? And so on the pshat surface, he's running because he knows now he's going to be in trouble with Paro, because this thing is known. But Vayira Moshe has been raised in a family with ideals. He's been raised in a family where you don't care about your personal gadlut, your personal greatness and your renown, but you do the job that needs to be done. This is the message of the parasha. And he goes out, and the first day he sees Mitzri against Jew, and he does what's right. And the next day he goes out, and he tries to make peace again. And they don't want peace. We see in the continuation of the parasha this concept of kotzer ruach, right? That they can't even hear it. They can't even, they're just in such a position of demeaned slaves. And so Vayira Moshe, he's already fearful. What is going to be the future of this people if they can't take the tochacha, which seems on the face of it to be so obvious, right? Like if you say to someone, you're about to hit someone, you should stop that, right? So even if we're angry, like most of us could say, oh, that's a good point, but they can't. So Vayira Moshe, Vayomer achen noda hadavar, Vayishma Paro et hadavar hazeh, Vayivakesh laharog et Moshe. And now we start hearing Moshe, where we haven't heard any proper names. Vayivakesh laharog et Moshe, Vayivrach Moshe mipnei Paro, Vayeshev be'eretz Midyan, Vayeshev al ha'be'er. And so he runs from Paro, and he goes to Midyan, and he goes to the be'er. And he knows that good things usually happen by wells from his forefathers. He's heard the stories. Ulechohen Midyan sheva banot, vatavona vatidlena vatimalena et harehatim lashkot tzon avihen. So again, we have a description, not with a name, but another job. He's Kohen Midyan, the priest of Midyan, and he has 7 daughters, and they come and they fill the troughs in order to water the sheep of their father. And now if we compare for a moment, if you flip back, or I'll just read it, in Bereshit, Perek Chaf Daled, Pasuk Tet Vav, we have the story of Rivka by the Be'er, right? And the Torah has no problem in saying exactly who she is, right? After Eliezer makes his conditional tefillah to Hashem, right, about the girl he's looking for his master's son, and all of a sudden, Vayihi hu terem kila ledaber, before he even stops speaking, Vehine Rivka yotzet asher yulda levetuel ben Milka eshet Nachor achi Avraham v'chada al shichma. So if we compare all of the names in that pasuk, right, that before Eliezer even finishes speaking to Hashem and giving his tefillah and his requests, the shidduch resume that he's the girl he's looking for, right? So Rivka comes out, the one that was born to Betuel, the son of Milka, the wife of Nachor, the brother of Avraham, with her pitcher on her shoulder. It's a very awkward pasuk, but the pasuk is sure, the Torah is sure to stick in there every possible personal name that it can. And just another example, if you take a look in Bereshit Perek Chaftet, pasuk Yud. Right, here we have Rachel coming down towards the Be'er when she's about to meet Yaakov. And Odenu Midaber Imam, right, this is talking about Yaakov with the roim, with the shepherds, when he's waiting for the well to be opened. Odenu midaber imam v'Rachel ba'a im hatzon asher la'avia ki ro'ahi. Right, so here we see after he was talking to the shepherds about Lavan, and do you know Lavan, and here comes Rachel, and so we really know all of the names, it's no problem. And here we have not a name of the father and not a name of the daughters, right, but just their positions. And this is something that they did regularly, right? They were in charge of watering the father's sheep. And vayavo haroim vayigarshum vayakam Moshe vayoshian vayashk etzonam. And the shepherds come, and as opposed to what happened previously, like with Rachel, where everyone wants to be fair, here they filled up the troughs. They did the work. And they're chased away by the shepherds. And Moshe gets up and he saves them. And he waters their sheep. Now we hear what happens. Vatavona el Reuel avihen vayomer madua miharten bo hayom. Right? Now, if you think about it, the girls already had filled up the troughs. So all that was left was for the sheep to drink, and they go home. So why is Reuel, their father, saying, "Why'd you come home so quickly?" Apparently, this was standard practice in Midian. Right? They let the girls fill up the troughs. They push them away. They use the water and say, ha, 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 and they go. And who knows if it happened once, if it happened twice, right? But watering the sheep would take a long time for the daughters of Reuel because they're used to getting bullied. And so he asks them, wow, you came home so quickly today. Today that bully didn't steal your lunch money, right? You know, I mean, you can imagine if you sent your kids to school every day with 3 times the amount of money that he or she needed for lunch because you assume they're going to get bullied and have to give some of it up to the bully. So Vatomarna ish mitzri hitzilanu miyad haroim v'gam dalo dala lanu vayashket hatzon. So they tell him what happened. This ish mitzri saved us, and he's an ish mitzri, right? They don't know his name yet, but he's called again an ish and an ish mitzri. So pshat is probably that he was dressed as a mitzri or he was speaking Egyptian, but clearly he can't be from around these parts. Look how he behaved. Right? We judge a person by their actions. And Dad, he wasn't acting like a Midyani. He was acting like someone else, so we're going to say Mitzri. Vayomer el benotav ve'ayo lama ze azavten et ha'ish kir'en lo vayochal lachem. So why'd you leave him there? Go and call him, right? He sees a potential shidduch. Vayoel Moshe lashevet et ha'ish vayiten et Zipora vito leMoshe. So again, all of a sudden, we hear proper names. We hear the name Moshe twice in this pasuk. We hear the name Tzipora. And we're going now into family life. Vateled ben vayikra et shmo Gershom ki amar ger hayiti be'eretz Nochriya. And so he has a son. He calls him Gershom because he was a stranger in a strange land. And we now see what I would call the retreat of Moshe. Because what we have is a situation where he tried. He tried in the Mitzri against Jew situation. He tried in the Jew against Jew situation. He went to the Be'er and he found non-Jews against non-Jews. And in all of this situation, the world is filled with arguments, with riv, with people taking advantage, with people being horrible to each other. And so he says, okay, I'm in a good situation now. I'm in this nice family. I have my wife. I have my son. And I'm really Gershom because Gera Yiti Be'eretz Nochriya. This is foreign to me. This behavior is foreign to me. And what happens? The name Gershom is actually reminding us of what happened in Pasuk Yud Zayin. Vayavo haroim vayigarshum. People are chasing each other away. It's a tzlil. It's the same, not the same shoresh. It's not the same roots, but this is the feeling that we get. And all of this time, another milah mancha, another light word that keeps popping up, if you look in Parak Bet, is the shoresh of ra'ah. right? We have Bat Paro seeing and seeing again the Teva and seeing the child. And then we have Moshe going out and seeing the sivlot, the burdens of his brethren, and seeing the Ish Mitzri, and seeing that there is no person, and seeing the fact that he is known. And briefly, we'll get back to these last few psukim, but the last pasuk of the parak, Vayar Elokim et bnei Yisrael, Vayida Elokim. It ends with Hashem seeing. Right? So I would say that up until now, Hashem is providing Moshe with what he needs for the future, right? And what we see is that after all of these exposures to all of these different circumstances, Moshe has retreated. And if we look at the first pasuk of Perek Gimel, what do we see? Umoshe haya ro'eh et tzon yitro chotno, kohen midyan, vayinhag et hatzon achar hamidbar, vayavo el har ha'elokim choreva. Moshe is ro'eh tzon. So if you've been to Israel and you've seen what the ro'eh tzon are doing, right? You look at the Bedouin, and you go like towards Yam HaMelech there, and you see these ro'eh tzon, they are alone. This is hitbodedut, right? This is years of Moshe saying, I'm just retreating. I'm going to be with my family. I'm going to be with my sheep. I'm going to be even with Hashem. But I'm not going to be part of the world right now because look at what's happening. Right? I tried. And now I want to go back for a moment before we continue on. I want to go back for a moment to the beginning of the parasha, to the first few psukim. So the first few psukim start out with a summary of what happened in Sefer Breshit. Ve'ele shmot bnei Yisrael habayim mitzrayma. Here are our Shemot. Right, so far we skipped this part, but we haven't had Shemot. Now we're going to go back and see the Shemot. Ve'ele shmot bnei Yisrael habayim mitzrayma et Yaakov ishu ve'to va'u. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun, Binyamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, ve'Asher. Now this is a replay of the list that's given in Parshat Vayigash. In Parshat Vayigash, Perek Mem Vav, starting from Pasuk Chet, Ve'ele shmot bnei Yisrael habaim Mitzrayma, Yaakov Vanav, and then it starts Bechor Yaakov Reuven. And the list there is many more psukim, and it includes all the Yordei Mitzrayim, all the 70 souls that went down to Mitzrayim. But what we have here is sort of a summary of that. Right? Remember where we were, and here we are again with those same players. Many years later, of course. But I saw from Yoni Grossman, right, that the lists really, if you're careful in looking, they're not the same because the order is different. In Parshat Vayigash, the order of the Shvatim is given as Bnei Leah, and then her Shivcha Zilpah, right? So Bnei Leah, Bnei Zilpah, and then Bnei Rachel, and then Bnei Bilhah, the Shivcha of Rachel. But in our parasha, the order switches. And the order switches as Bnei Leah, and then Bnei Rachel, and Benjamin, right? Yosef is already there, and then to just form a chiastic structure, the children of Bilhah, and then Zilpah, right? So what's the difference, right? So in Sefer Bereshit, we have an order that reflects the family, the natural family structure, right? We can imagine that although they were sisters, Leah is closer probably to Zilpah, because that's her shivcha, that's who she put in to have children for her when she couldn't have children anymore, right? And Rachel similarly is probably closer to Bilhah because she couldn't have children, so she puts Bilhah in for her. But in Sefer Shemot, we're shifting over. That's not important anymore. right? All the family squabbles, all of they're my children, they're your children, that's not important anymore. What's important in Sefer Shemot is the national interests. And the national interests are the imaot come first, right? Because when we talk about the imaot, the shvachot are not mentioned. Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. Right? And so we have now a switch in the order, because in Sefer Shemot, right after this, we're going to hear from Paro for the first time. Pasuk Tet, Vayomer el amo, hine am b'nei Yisrael rav ve'atzum mimenu. Paro, ironically, is the first one to call Bnei Israel an Am. So we're shifting. We're shifting to the fact that, you know what? It's not about individuals. All those names in the Pasuk where we see Rivka at the Be'er, that's not relevant anymore. Now we're at a Be'er, and we're focusing on the leadership of the nation. And the private individuals, try as they might to be private individuals, are going to turn into representatives of the nation. So, we now see Moshe, and he says, Ki ger hayiti be'eretz nachriya. And he is a ger, he's a stranger, but not only in his new adopted home of Midian. He was basically a stranger in Mitzrayim as well, right? He didn't quite fit in there. And when he tried to deal with his nation, right, when he went out, when we see the two Hebrews fighting with each other, he's a stranger there as well. He makes assumptions that he can give them tochacha, that he can tell you, right, lama takereecha, and they don't take that. So they don't consider that valid. So we see that he's retreated into this personal life. And that's how we begin Perek Gimel. And in Perek Gimel, we see we're at the Sneh. And I'm going to skip the initial call to him. But we see some of those milot yacha, some of those relationship words when Hashem is speaking. If you look in Pasuk Yud, he tells Moshe, after introducing himself, right? So what's startling? God's talking to you, but he gets over it. Ve'ata lecha ve'eshlachacha el paro ve'hotzei et ami v'nei Yisrael mimitzrayim. So we now have another figure calling Bnei Israel an Am, and it's not Paro, it's Hashem. And he doesn't just say Am Bnei Israel, he says Ami Bnei Israel, right? So the same way that we saw the building of all of these relationships, all of these pronouns in the first two prakim, right, especially in Perek Bet, so now we see Hashem relating to Bnei Israel as his nation. But what is Moshe's reaction? Right? He's already tried this, at least on a freelance basis. Vayomer Moshe el ha'elokim, mi anochi ki elech el paro v'chi otzi et bnei Yisrael mimitzrayim. Right? Who am I to do this? Right? I've tried this. It's been years, it's been decades. He's been in Midian, he's been with the sheep for a long time. Okay? And so now we see the use of that aleph, that ani, elech, otzi, right? And Moshe seems to have forgotten a very important lesson in leadership. And that is, it's not about me. And I think some of our leaders, unfortunately, in the political arena especially, forget that right often. It's not about me. It's about the people that we're serving, right? And so Hashem answers him, right? Vayomer ki eheye imach וזה לך האות כי אנוכי שלחתיך בהוציאך את העם ממצרים תעבדון את האלוקים על ההר הזה. You want to know why? Because I said so. Because that's the ultimate answer, right? Because God said so. So, right? Ki I'm going to be with you. And that's really the only answer that you need. Right? And so Moshe, okay, fine. Moshe el Elokim, Yine Anochi va el bnei Israel. Let's say I do this, right? I'm going to go. Ve'amarti lahem Elokei avotechem shalachani alechem. The God of your fathers has sent me to you. Ve'amru li mashma ma'omar alehem. It's almost, it's really chutzpah, right? Okay, fine, yeah, I'm going to go. This is what's going to happen. What am I going to say to them? And Hashem is Erech HaPayim, and Hashem continues, Vayomer Elokim el Moshe. And there are many names he could give. And his answer is, Ehyeh asher ehyeh. Vayomer kol tamar livnei Israel, Ehyeh shalachani aleichem. I will be what I will be. That's my name that you should tell them. And the Mefarshim differ as to what it means when he repeats Ehyeh shalachani aleichem. Is that like a nickname? Like, you could just call me Ehyeh. It's good. But in any case, what does Hashem say here? Hashem says, you know who I am? I'm the guy that's been. Look around. Right? And we have Vayomer Elokim. Elokim is the God of Bereshit. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. I'm the God that created the world. I'm the one that's been here for the Avot. I am because I am. I will be what I will be. And what will God be? So we know that we cannot describe God, right? That's beyond us. But whenever Hashem describes himself, it's through his actions, right? And so when Hashem says, Ehyeh asher ehyeh, it means, right, I'm known by my actions. And then he continues in the next pasuk, Vayomer od Elokim el Moshe, Ko tomar el bnei Israel, Hashem Elokei avotechem, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, shalachani aleichem, Ze shmi leolam, Veze zichri ledor dor. What does he say? He continues speaking without Moshe interrupting. He says, and there's more, right? We didn't need this part of the pasuk to say od, right? He said, furthermore, this is what you should say. The God of your fathers, the God of Avraham, the God of Yitzchak, the God of Yaakov has sent me to you. That is my name forever, and that is my remembrance from generation to generation. What do we remember? What does that mean? Zeh zichri ledor dor. So we remember relationships. We remember actions, right? This is a very, modern educational theory, right? If writing lists of facts on the board, kids are not going to remember that. Adults aren't going to remember it either, right? We have all sorts of experiential learning, right, that you're going to remember. A friend of mine in Israel, for his daughter's bat mitzvah, he made her get up at like 4 a.m, and they went down to Shuk Machne Yehuda to watch the Trumot and Masrot being taken and then brought to the Jerusalem Zoo, where they're fed to the animals which are owned by a Kohen. So they're allowed to it's an amazing thing. Okay, this girl is always going to remember that her father slept her out of bed at 4 a.m. to go and see this happening. And that's how our Trumot and Masrot are taken, right? Those kinds of things are what we remember. We remember actions. We remember actions that have happened to us. And we remember relationships. And that's, I think, the message of these prakim. And that's what Hashem is telling Moshe, and we see by Hemshech in the continuation of the parak, we won't go through it right now, that Hashem gets kind of annoyed at Moshe when he needs more assurances and more backing, basically. It says, because Ehyeh asher ehyeh, that's not a cop-out, right? This is our essence. And it's not only Hashem, it's throughout the parasha, whether it's the Rasha, or whether it's the Miyaldot, or whether it's Bat Paro, or whether it's Ish mi Beit Levi, Halach le Bat Levi, right? In each case, it's the actions that are defining the people. And that, I think, is really the essence of leadership. Now, when we continue in this direction, right, we see that what is the ultimate expression for Moshe? So, by one of the low points, right, in his leadership, by Bet HaEgel, what do the people say? This is years later. Moshe has developed as a leader. And they turn to Aharon, Vayomru elav, I'm in Sefer Shemot, Perek Lamed Bet, Pasuk Aleph. Vayara am ki voshesh Moshe laredet min ahar, when the nation sees that Moshe is not coming down from the mountain. Vayikahel am al Aharon, Vayomru elav, Kum aselenu Elohim asher yelchu lefanenu. They gathered on Aharon and they said, make for us a God that will walk before us. Kizeh Moshe ha'ish asher he'elanu me'eretz Mitzrayim, his action. Lo yadanu mehayalo. So how far did the nation stray from understanding the ideals of leadership when in their own pasuk they can say Moshe? Which Moshe? Ha'ish. The one who effaced himself, who said, even though I'm Moshe, it's not me, it's being an ish. And they know his action, Asher Helanu Me'eretz Mitzrayim. And they still can miss the point and not have the faith that Moshe is going to return as he promised. Now, in this week's parasha, there are two haftarot that are assigned, right? Very different, and it's very unusual to have two completely different haftarot between three, between Minhag Ashkenaz and Minhag Sfarad and Minhag Teman, right? But I'll take just a moment to talk about the haftarah for Ashkenazim, which is from Yeshayahu, right? And the one for Sfaradim, which is from Yirmiyahu, right? So the haftarah in Sefer Yirmiyahu, first of all, talks about it's the Hakadashah, it's his appointment as a Navi, right? And so we see what it means to be taken in hard times. And it's not always easy, and it certainly was not fun for Yirmiyahu, his job, right? And to be taken as a Navi. However, when we look at Yoshayahu, he has this back and forth with the people. And one of the famous lines in the Haftarah is when he says, Tzav l'tzav, kav l'kav, zeir sham, right? What are they saying? They're mocking the Navi. They're saying, like, you come and you teach a line here and a mitzvah here and a little bit there and a little bit there and, like we're little children or something, and they mock him. And he answers back. And he repeats their words. And he says, Tzav l'tzav, kav l'kav, kav l'kav, zeir sham. Yeah, he says, you look at it as a line here and a line there and a mitzvah here and a mitzvah there and a little bit, because you know why? You're not seeing the big picture. You're not stepping back. You're seeing what's good for you and what's convenient at any given time. But you're not seeing that big picture. You're looking at it as just this group of random laws. But Hashem has a bigger picture, and it's not about you and your leadership as a Navi or as a Kohen or your own grandeur, right? It's talking about the big picture. So that's I think the connection to the Haftarah, right? We also see that at the very beginning, when we have Vayelech ish mi beit Levi vayikach et bat Levi, what does it remind us of? Where's the other time we see this? Vayelech ish mi beit Lechem Yehuda, right? The beginning of Megillat Ruth, talking, of course, about Elimelech. And Elimelech essentially did the opposite of Amram. Elimelech said, I want to be anonymous, not because that's the best way for me to serve the people, but because I don't want the responsibility of serving the people. And what we see is that ultimately Moshe is able to overcome that and become Moshe Ha'ish. Right? The people don't always see it. And finally, if you'll turn just for a moment to Sefer Yeshayahu, Perek Nun Tet, Pasuk Tet Vav. So we have here a description, right? And Yeshayahu, we know, has a lot of Pirkei Nechama. And what's the Nechama that he's giving us in this parak? That Hashem is going to bring a Goel, that there's going to be Basof, someone who will arise as a leader capable of being Hashem's Shaliach and redeeming Bnei Israel. And in Perek Nun Tet, Pasuk Tet Vav, Vatihi ha'emet ne'ederet. It's going to happen that truth will be absent. V'sarmera mishtolel. And this person, again, a person described by his actions, v'sarmera, the person who avoids evil, will be out running around, having a good time. Vayar Hashem, vayera be'inav ki ein mishpat. And Hashem will see, like in our parasha, vayar vayeda, right? Hashem is going to see, and it will be evil in his eyes because there will be no mishpat. Reminding us of misam shar v'shofet aleinu, right? Pasuk Tet Zayin, vayar ki ein ish, vayishtomem ki ein mafgia, vatosha lo zro'o v'tzidkato hi samachathu. So what's going to happen? Hashem will see that there is no man. There is no man who is willing to be just ish, without the fanfare and without the publicity and without knowing that he's going to get the accolades. There is going to be this he'eder. There's not going to be truth. There's not going to be mishpat. And at that point, vatosha lo zro'o, Hashem is going to save with his hand, and his righteousness will support him. Right? And so that's the promise for the future, that Hashem will provide in every generation the leaders that we need to support the community in such a way that we say, Bimkom she'en ish titzdadel liot ish. Right? That when there are no people, rise up to be a person, to be a man or woman, as the case may be. But the idea that Jewish leadership, Torah leadership, means that we might not have a name, right? We might just be ish, bat, achot, meneket, right? Or many other relationships. But that by forming those remembrances that are based on deeds, and by forming those relationships, that's how we stay strong as a nation.